welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Stuti, and today I want to talk about the corporate girly learnings that I think can apply to every workspace. I have been a data analyst for more than 5 years at this point. I have worked in the US, California. I have worked in Atlanta, again US. I have worked in Berlin, Europe, and I am in India right now. So I think I have enough understanding of at least the tech world, and also like some stories I have collected here and there from like Reddit randos, and also like my friends who work in other industries, because I tend to have a very diverse friend group wherever I go. With that, let's move on to the first rule. Starting with a tough love one I wrote. Okay, no one is our friend. I think this is like very common, especially like in the TikTok realm of corporate advice. Usually, the one that comes up the most is that HR is not your friend, is the one that I have heard. I think no one at work is your friend, and here's why. Because it may seem like people you're spending like 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week are going to be understanding of you, and it's good to have like a nice rapport in the sense that you all don't fight and are civil with each other. But for the most part, I think seeking friendship in coworkers has always gone downhill, or it had led to issues later that I didn't ask for, and I've seen that happen with other people. Okay, here's if you're going to make friendships at work, like actual friendships where you meet these people outside of work, you tell them about your personal lives, vet that person properly. That person should be really vetted before they enter your life, especially if you work with them. Because by vetting, I mean, don't just count the number of years you have spent with them. I would say count the total number of hours and interactions you've had with them. Make them prove to you repeatedly that they are worthy of your trust, and then only you should let people in at work. Because at the end of the day, corporate workplace, especially tech, is like a jungle sort of, where everyone's trying to like go towards the same promotion, or looking for the same dashboard to work on, or like a meaty project that they want to be chosen on instead of you. So a person like that could leverage some personal information they have about you to not let you succeed. And it's not even something that I hold against people anymore. I think it's human nature. We all compete. We used to compete for like fend for ourselves or our families in the form of hunter and gatherers, and now we are doing that on our laptop. So it's human nature to want to succeed, even if it means stepping on someone, and that has happened a lot in almost each organization, country, and industry that I have been in. I've seen that happen a lot. It's human nature. So err on the side of caution when you are trying to make friends with people at work. Whew. With that tough love one, let's move on to the next. Another tough love item: don't ask questions. I think workplaces, especially during the orientation process, like really try to be sweet and are nice and seemingly supportive, where they are like, let me know if you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions. And I think that's just like a formality, and they don't really mean it. No one wants you to create more work for them. No one is that passionate about Tableau, or there may be like a couple people who would want to help you, but even they would do it from a place of, I hope this junior gives me credit in a bigger meeting that I helped them. Nothing comes for free in a corporate workplace. Even if someone were to help you, and this has happened with me a lot. I think even if someone were to help you, not a lot, but I remember this specific instance where there was one girl at my company in Germany who was really helpful towards me, and I later discovered she was using each time I asked her a question to log to my boss that how much of a slow learner I am, or how much of a steep learning curve this job is for me. So even if someone, you could get help, but at the expense of ruining your reputation in front of your boss. The person could be like, oh, this person is such a slow learner, they're not really good at their job, I don't even know how they got hired, do they even know SQL, because this is what she asks me on a daily basis. Where it could possibly just be you having imposter syndrome, or you being really overwhelmed in a new country. It could be anything, but those people are not going to understand that, and their sweet outwardly facade of like a sweet helpful person could be mistaken into someone being really helpful, and you could give them credit for helping you out multiple times in a call or in a Slack thread. But eventually the likelihood of them ratting out about you as being a slow learner or having a steep learning curve is exponentially high, based on the kind of questions you ask. So anytime someone says feel free to ask any questions, there are no stupid questions. There are stupid questions, and they don't want you to ask those questions. No one wants more work created for them, especially not for every new hire, for every new orientation. What I would suggest is, I think what I've started doing after that horrible experience of being sweet talked into asking as many questions as I want is you can set a timer on like um, a timer on a clock wherein you exhaust all resources online of asking questions. For instance, ChatGPT you can leverage at this point, or and I understand, I have been there. It's very easy to be intimidated by a task, and your first instinct to be to ask a human to help you out of this difficult situation. But we are living in like a cruel world, especially when it's comes to a corporate workplace, especially tech. It's very human to get intimidated by an error and want to ask a human person, so that not only they give you an answer like a Google search, they also empathize with you a little bit. Yeah, this is hard, here's what I would have done. But we don't live in a world where people are helpful for free. They could act like they are and be really sweet, but they could write bad things about you in your peer reviews or stuff like that. So I would recommend, ChatGPT is also becoming kind of like a therapist, I would say. You could tell ChatGPT not only that, hey, I got this error, can you help me? You could actually say the real inner monologues like, hey, Chat, it's my second day at work, ChatGPT, and I got this error and I'm super overwhelmed. Not only would ChatGPT try to give you the solution, like the technical solution, but it would also empathize with you, because I do think ChatGPT is becoming a little bit of a therapist. So if you do need that human touch of a help, wherein not only you get the answer to the problem or the technical thing you are facing, and you also want to be like empathized a little, that ChatGPT could also do that for you now. So yeah, there's Copilot, there's ChatGPT. Write it down. I started doing like post-it notes. Struggling, I pull out my post-it notes. I have a really huge collection, and I just put it on a wall, and everything becomes clear pretty fast. Even if it's like a very stupid thing, you don't have to tell your coworkers, especially with remote work. No one's gonna find out that you are manually brute force analog trying to solve a problem instead of asking them a question. Even if you want remote, whiteboards are a thing, notebook is a thing. So try to like do things in your diary, set a timer for 2 hours before you ask any question to any coworker, because there are stupid questions and they won't like you asking them those questions. The next one is, don't share the real fun fact about you. So I think the motivation for this is, I used to do comedy in San Francisco, and I invited my co-workers and my boss to my first comedy show, and that is like a huge rookie mistake, because not only, okay, comedy is very personal and vulnerable. It's basically, it turned me into like a, I used to make the analogy that like an open mic, like a mic used to basically work as a truth serum for me, and those are the jokes that landed because they were coming from a very honest place. But those are not the kind of things I would want my boss to know. And I think in general, like when they say tell us a fun fact about you, it's very wise to not tell the most fun fact about you, because the most fun things we do are NSFW. And even if they aren't NSFW, you could say, I do stand-up comedy on weekends. It could catapult into them finding out details about your personal life, which is going to, could possibly be used or leveraged against you going forward. And that's not going to be pretty for you, which brings me to my next point. Share any personal information about you with your coworkers. I think this is kind of overlapping with don't share the real fun fact about you, and the first one, that there are no real friends in the workplace. But I think, again, it's human to want to talk to people about your personal life, especially when you're spending 40 hours a week with them. Also, like, there are times when companies try to mimic like a wellness, this is a safe space type of environment. Not in India. In India, they're pretty transparently open about being toxic, and but suppose like I fell into this trap in Europe, where our organization had like a neurodivergent community and like a neurodivergent Slack channel. There's like so many of those in companies that are really trying to get good PR, like a BIPOC channel, a queer people channel. But I think those are a risky business, because especially with neurodivergence, if someone has that kind of information about you, they could very easily leverage that or use that against you and make you a soft target for all bullying almost, because they could possibly just put you in like a victim box and be like, she can't get things done because she's suffering with that thing she told us about, or stuff like that. I think it's best to never show your vulnerable side with people you are competing with. They could be nice human beings for like a split second, but eventually their true corporate hunter-gatherer fending for themselves nature is going to come out. Which is why no matter how much of a safe space I think a place tries to mimic, no matter how much of like a kumbaya, I don't know, like Europe speaks about having good work life balance. Yeah, that only applies if the people you are working with, your co-workers, are primarily European. If you are in a tech space, it's going to be predominantly Indian people, and we know how Indian people are towards having a work life balance, getting drinks after work, women getting drinks after work with them, women smoking with them. An Indian person, even if they go to Germany, they go to Europe, a person in tech, there's a high likelihood they are going to low-key judge you if you share too much of your personal information, your dating life, smoke or drink with them. It is bound to happen. If you are in tech, you could be in the coolest, most hip place in this world, but if you're in a tech company and the organization is predominantly Indian, your work hours are going to be pushed out of your um, 8-hour block that the company says they provide, because you know why. I'm not trying to get cancelled. I could say many things here, but yeah. Whew. Moving on to the next one. Be your own role model. I think this is something that I struggle with a lot, because I come from a place of, I think I've talked about this before, but I come from a family where not very, or like a part of India where no women work, and I'm the first woman in like a corporate tech workplace. I have a younger cousin who's a product designer now. I discovered about her, but aside from the two of us, I don't think anyone does. Not trying to demean anyone, but I don't think anyone who is in the workforce. Uh, and I think that led me to think that the reason I underperform at work, or I feel underconfident, or the reason I have imposter syndrome at work is because I didn't have any cousin, or I didn't grow up watching a didi or many bhaiyas, but no didis who were working that I could, or even my parents who, they were not in like a corporate workplace setting. My dad is a businessman, my mom is a homemaker, so I just assume because I'm this first generation office goer, I don't know shit, and everyone's better than me, and that's bullshit, because most of us are doing our jobs for the first time. And for the longest time, I used to pretend to be, I used to have the same mindset and imposter syndrome of the people I saw in my university, like the African American community who went to who went to college for the first time. They used to say things like, "I'm the first one in my whole generation or lineage to go to a 4-year college," and I didn't understand why they were bragging about something like that, or why it was a big deal for them. And I was really oblivious to the fact that it's a really big deal to do something, that to take on a path that is not taken by your entire lineage. But having said that, you don't have to be a victim to the fact that no one in your family went to like a college, or no one in your family went to like an office workspace in the corporate tech world. No one knows what they're doing. Even the ones who act like they know everything, the ones who, you know, got into a good school, went to like a Carnegie Mellon or like the best tech schools in the world, got placed into Meta or Google or whatever right after their senior year of their 4-year college. Even those people don't know what they're doing, because the world is constantly changing and evolving, especially when it comes to tech. So even if someone were to inherit like a legacy kind of information, it's like the legacy code, or like legacy SQL or legacy media is basically synonymous to saying something is outdated code, outdated media kind of type deal. So I think just making yourself small because you don't come from a legacy or a family of people who have been in the same kind of workspace as you, as the current you, doesn't make you any less. If anything, you bring in fresh ideas. I feel currently at my company, I feel I wish I could steal, if I could steal one thing from like my younger junior analysts, is like the novelty of how they feel when they do a task. I feel I'm a little bit jaded, and it's the same thing as doing something new that is different from the rest of your family's lineage. I think I went on a rant there, but what I'm trying to say is, be your own role model. None of us know what they are doing. Even the ones you assume would know more than you. The next one I want to talk about is, don't sleep on your 9 to 5 grind. Sleep on or sleep at. What I'm saying is, we live in a world right now where non-conventional careers are being really pushed, and 9 to 5 has become like boring or mundane, which on some days it can be, but a 9 to 5 can give you so much in terms of just work ethic, learning, giving a structure to your day, learning work ethic. It is the same analogy of how one could make an argument that going to college is stupid, because they make you just learn the same antiquated information and put it on a piece of paper. But the days I went to school are the most formative years of my life, because I learned how to problem solve on a time crunch just because I went to those classes, the information of which may be outdated, but the problem solving skills that I got out of going to a college are unmatched. The fact that I had to get up on a certain time, manage my money, the pocket money, do problem solving within 50, do a linear algebra problem in 50 minutes, three or four linear algebra problems in a span of 50 minutes on a time crunch. Those kind of problem solving skills, people skills, how to deal with a bunch of different personalities, deal with biases, deal with the fact that some people are just liked more than you, or and that is something that you learn in like a school playground, and the playground being an analogy of a classroom. In the same way, I think so much is being advertised to us as, oh, you could be a content creator and you could just do a 5-minute reel or a 5-second reel, and that could lead you more money than your entire month at a 9 to 5. I think that is possible and is happening, but aside from, and that of course, now that market or that field has become so oversaturated, it is really hard to get views and attention and create value consistently and stay relevant consistently. um, I see so many reels now saying that, oh, I'm at this, like crying about having a 9 to 5. But if you think about it, 9 to 5, especially as a remote worker in tech, can be really awesome. And you are getting a consistent, steady paycheck, and you don't have to leave your house. Now, there are other places where you might say that, yeah, I'd rather be a content creator than do like this barista job that is barely paying my bills. But if you work in corporate tech, I think you don't have to leave your anonymous, like, you have to sell your life and like sell your soul. If you're not selling your soul to corporate tech, you are selling your soul to the algorithm. So either way, you are going to be doing something, because content creators also have to churn content whether they feel like it or not. That life can also be very empty and hollow and mundane, where you have to make like the fourth or the fifth iteration of the same mascara type, I don't know, same kind of video. You have to make a 10th iteration of that. That could get pretty boring pretty fast as well. You have to stay relevant, you have to sell your information to the world, there is no privacy left. You could maintain your anonymity, you can maintain your being a private person and make enough money and be happy if you are a corporate tech worker. Now the landscape is changing a lot of automation and AI is happening, no doubt about that. But even with that, like, how difficult it is to say, to start something of your own. I think so many of my friends have told me when I have been in like a window of unemployment that, oh, you write so well or you do embroidery so well, why don't you do like in something related to art, start a YouTube channel. And all of those things, first of all, I just copy off of Pinterest. I'm not like the best artist, I just do it as like a self therapy and to get off my phone. But starting something of your own, like all these utopian or seemingly fun ideas of starting a cafe, a YouTube channel, monetizing your art, all of that also comes at a cost and is not easy in a very saturated, oversaturated market or landscape. So yeah, after being laid off a couple times and having to go through the whole LinkedIn job hunt process grind, I value this life very much, even though I do get that it can get really mundane. I really had to force myself out of bed this morning and had to really like kickstart my day, and I have bad days as well. But I think a consistent, steady, stable paycheck is really helpful. Say this is controversial, but if you're a woman and a fashion girly, I would say don't use work to experiment different makeup or outfits. Why I say this is because if you're in tech especially, people are going to low-key judge. I have been through instances of this enough. Like, I can look like this and this and this, but look at what I look like right now. Because I'm doing a corporate related video, I have the background of my chair. You know for how long I've been wanting to do this video, but I waited till I had my office chair, my ergonomic chair. I waited till I could do this setup for the backdrop of this video. I didn't sit on my bed, I sat on this chair. So people do look at the optics of a person to gauge how smart they are. And as much as I also like doing makeup looks, and I have all my makeup sitting here, and you can check my other videos to see how much I love creating looks and curating outfits, I think work is not the place to do that. I try to ugly myself down to get taken seriously. I don't think that happens from a place of insecurity. I think that has just happened based on pattern recognition on the kind of responses and the looks I get when I dress a certain way in office versus when I dress a different way. So I think if you are a fashion girly or makeup girly, kind of like me, who loves to curate looks and outfits, a rookie mistake is doing that and romanticizing your outfit and doing that in a corporate tech workplace, because I think Zuckerberg said recently there's a lot of feminine energy in the offices. Or I don't know, if you work in tech, it's not the place to experiment with fashion and makeup looks, is all I'm saying. You won't get taken seriously. Someone would. I used to wear my Swifty shirt to work, and the kind of jokes that came out of that, the kind of assumptions that came out of that, it's just. I wish I just wore black all the time. So, yeah, that is another advice I wanted to give you. Do I have anything left? I think that's it. Yeah, just put your head down, stay low key, create a barrier, have good rapport. Not telling you to work in silos. Have a good rapport with your coworkers, but don't share the actual fun fact about you. Don't sleep at or on your 9 to 5. There is value in that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you found this video educational and a little bit of an infotainment style video. I'll be back with my vlogs very, very soon. And until then, see ya.